poppin', everybody? So I promised once I reached the first Patreon goal, which was $15, that I would do a Patreon only question and answers. So this is very fucking lit. Super excited to do this, even though there are a lot of tiger mosquitoes out here. I found a nice location for it. So let's hop on right into this. Been having a sick time around Taiwan. They have these bikes that are free for 30 minutes. So I just ride it around for half an hour, return that shit, grab another one.
You're now listening to the smooth sounds of freaking Thaddeus music.
First question from this dude, and this was all asked by one guy. Shout outs. He actually asked some pretty nice questions. So, question number one. How do I avoid burnout? This is a good ass question, and I don't know. I feel like there's a few ways to do this. First off, I sleep and eat very fucking good. When I first started heading off into the entrepreneur world, I really wanted that vibe of telling people like, oh my god, I didn't even sleep. I worked until 5 a.m. last night, woke up at 6 a.m. and I don't know. I definitely had a lot of great times doing that. But that's exactly what leads to burnout. Also, tons of caffeine, like it's just not natural. So I don't even drink caffeine. I make sure that I eat very well. I think that's a big thing. I have a big tendency to really not care about eating. Like I really don't notice it. If I'm just editing on something, I can go a full 24 hours. I won't notice sleeping or eating. So I have to make a conscious decision to do that. But I'm glad I went through some periods where I did kind of burn out a little bit so that I learned from my mistakes. But that's definitely the biggest thing, staying fed and sleeping well. And then, yeah, I guess if you're having any breaks, schedule them. I know this is a big thing. Like people will be like, well, I want to watch some TV, and then just the whole rest of the day goes away. For me, I would always do it like, I know I have this much shit to do. If I want to watch TV, I have to get all of this done first. It's like a reward system. Like, if I finish all this shit, I can smoke that fat blunt and watch an episode of something on Netflix. Because the hardest part's getting started. So it might feel like, oh my god, it's too hard. Like, I'm burning out, all this stuff needs to get done. I just want to watch something right now. But I say, no, I can watch that, but I just have to get all this shit done first. And then most of the time, it's like I do all the shit and then there's not even time to watch it. I don't even feel like watching it. It's just I needed that motivation, like, okay, I can watch this when I get all this stuff done so that I actually get started on it. And once I get started on it, I don't even care. It's just like, this is so much fun. It's all about the momentum. And I think that's what burning out is when the momentum just kind of stops. So yeah, that's a big thing. And yeah, I just always bet on my strengths. I wouldn't, make a big commitment on something that I wasn't sure I could do. So I always do it on videos, like recording and editing. Like I might make a huge commitment that I haven't like ever reached before on that. But I know since those are my strong suits, I can commit to anything on that and I won't burn out on it. So that's definitely a good thing on that. What keeps me motivated? What keeps me motivated is definitely my parents. They had a ridiculous fucking story. Like, they both went through a lot of hardships, are super humble about it. Like, the only reason I know their stories is casually through conversation, like a little bit or a little piece pops up. But my dad, while being a huge stoner and tripping a lot, graduated with a fucking master's, double major, magna cum laude, like knows how to read Japanese, speak and read Chinese fluently, and was born and raised in Iowa. Like, that's fucking crazy. He was the first person in his entire bloodline, like his generation was the first out of that to be successful. Same thing with my mom. Her generation of her siblings and stuff were the first ones in her entire family to make it to America. So I guess that's a lot of motivation just to take that legacy forward another level with me and my brother, and like that's huge motivation for me. Also, during a DMT trip, I'm not trying to exaggerate when I say I literally died. I thought I was in purgatory. I looked around and I was just like, oh no, I didn't do fucking enough with stoned alone. And that was literally the first thought I had. So, it's not like every single situation. You would think after that, when coming back, I would be, you know, great in every single situation, but the brain is fucking weird. It always just wants to find the easy way out. So no matter what, oh my god, these tiger mosquitoes. No matter what, like, I'll just be sitting in a situation and my mind will be thinking things like, oh, I want to do this the easy way. I don't feel like doing this. I just want to go on Netflix and watch a bunch of stuff. Oh, I don't want to do this. I'll just do this other thing instead. But I remember back to that experience. Like, if I literally died right now, my first reaction would be like, fuck, I didn't do enough. So having that experience was definitely really important to my life because, yeah, that like actually happened to me. And then my actual number one motivation for everything I do is just feeling the vibe. Like the vibe I feel on a daily basis that comes from working on Stoned Alone is just this vibe of like, you know, they don't even know, like I haven't even begun to start yet. And like I've been feeling that vibe for years now, and I think that's what gets me through so much, because it's like whatever happens, it's like, yeah, whatever. Like I haven't even begun to start yet. Like this isn't even close to the beginning of what's about to happen. And I always have that feeling, no matter what, just always feeling, oh my god, tiger mosquitoes. So it's definitely that vibe. I think it's probably one of the best feelings in the world. It's just always feeling like, oh, you know, it hasn't even begun to start yet. Like there's so much more in the future that I can't even imagine. I'm only X amount of years into this. Can you imagine the next year, the next 5 years? And that gets me through a lot. Okay, the question here is, what is the biggest truth that people do not realize? And I think it's just the fact of how insignificant we really all are. And I'm not talking about like even on an individual basis, I'm talking about this whole fucking planet, you know? Like I'm on the other side of it and it's just, it's not that big. It's just like this tiny, tiny little speck in our little solar system, you know? And then our little solar system's just a tiny, tiny little speck in our little Milky Way, and our fucking Milky Way is just one of infinite fucking galaxies in a multiverse. Like that doesn't, like we're so uncomprehensibly tiny, and like I think that's just something that people should give more thought into. I think we all know this. Like even when you're just standing there in the shower thoughts start thinking about it. Like that is just so fucking true. So it's really weird when people get mad at something like they go to McDonald's and get the wrong order. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're like this tiny, tiny little ant when it comes to the universe. Like, just to be petty about anything, like, it's just so weird and stupid. Like, we're, you know? So, I think that's just kind of the deal. And the only reason why we would even be here logically is if it was a video game. Like, we don't belong here. You know, like people take their lives for granted. Like stop taking your existence for granted. The fucking chances of becoming a human are so tiny, like it doesn't even make sense. So I think that's just a big thing. Because once you start looking at it that way, you know, it's like none of it matters. So if none of it matters, at least enjoy it to the full capacity. And if it's all a video game, which it probably is, don't you want to have fucking fun playing the video game and playing the things that you want and having the things that you want and experiences that you want? Like, it's just weird. Next question. Did any psychedelic drugs show this truth or through some other way? And I think it's weird. It started out as just shower thoughts, like, man, that's interesting. We really are just all insignificant. You know, being like an 11-year-old kid. And then it moved on to stoner thoughts, like with friends, and it's just fun to talk about, like, bro, like, what if we're just this tiny little speck, like, on a leaf? But, you know, it's just kind of like fucking around, just like talking about stuff. And then when it came to tripping, it was an epiphany, like, oh my fucking god, this is actually like a fucking joke, like this entire universe, like not just where we're standing, like the whole universe as a whole, you know, and like life as a whole, it's just a fucking weird joke, like it's hilarious. And people take it so seriously and get so stressed out about stuff, like it's just a fucking game basically, like who cares? And then when it came to DMT, it was just like an, oh shit, like we really are just an insignificant little part of the universe. Like This is crazy. So
Get loose and let your hands clap.
I don't think psychedelics necessarily taught me that. It just kind of eliminated all doubt that I would have had about it. So I think that was just really interesting. And, you know, I think everybody just wants something to believe in. Like, I've gone down the rabbit hole of like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Like, over and over and over again with tripping. And then at the end, I've just concluded with like, you need to believe in something. And if you just believe it's all a video game, that works out. Just as long as, you know, you use that knowledge to just
Get loose.
live life as happily as you possibly can. And I think that's just the biggest thing with it. And then, why don't people realize this truth? Because it's fucking easier that way. Like, I seriously have no sympathy for people who aren't absolutely enlightened. Everyone's reality is just the way that they perceive it. And the only thing that we can do is treat everybody the best that we possibly can, and, you know, like, talk about the things that we believe in, and that's really all that you can do. And it's really sad to me that the first people I ever smoked with in my life, which I felt like we were on the same page while we were smoking, you know, the very next day, they would go back to their lives and basically turn on autopilot and then just ignore everything that they learned and just go back into this world where, oh, the world's trying to fuck me, or this is stupid, or I'm jealous of this. Like, it's too easy to fall into those traps because that's what everybody else is doing. It's too fucking easy to be negative, and that's why people just don't realize that truth, I think. And the weirdest thing was just being with people who tripped with me. Like, I trip-sat some friends. One of them afterwards just decided, oh my god, that's fucking weird. And then just, yeah, basically disacknowledged the entire experience. During the experience, they're like, oh my god, you know, I see all the problems with my life. I know how to fix them. I just have to do this and this. And then as soon as they get back to real life, they're just like, oh man, that was just a fucking weird experience. And they don't even think about it again. They just wrote it off as fucking weird. I will never do that again. That was just some weird shit. And it's weird that the first people I ever smoked with, like a couple of them, I smoked with again right before I left, because I'm like, you know, I might not ever see these people ever again. I'm not coming back to Fargo. I'm smoking up with all the people that, you know, I had made friends with during this time, smoking a blunt with them and realizing like they hadn't smoked in between the years of the first time we smoked together and then, which is like whatever, but they just had this feeling like, oh, weed is bad or psychedelics are bad because they really show you yourself. And you can see that the people that don't like weed and they just would rather drink, they really don't like themselves because they would rather drink and then kind of like drown those sorrows out instead of really looking at the situation and thinking about how to fix it, you know? It's weird looking on Snapchat and being like, these fucking people literally like give me shit for smoking weed and think I'm doing something bad, and they're doing like dip or drinking fucking beer. Like, it's weird, and it's just like shows that whole kind of culture that, yeah, it's fucking weird. What's a moment in time that I have a lot of nostalgia over? And I thought that was a really good question. But for me, honestly, it's mostly just 1 month, 2 months, like 3 months ago. I don't know if that's just super short attention span, but I really feel like things happen and change so much that that's always the part that I look back to. Like when I close my eyes, or I just think of like the last time I was like, like good vibes. It's always like a couple months ago, because I don't know, it just shows a lot of perspective. Like, am I doing better now? Am I not doing as much work now? And it's a really good point of reference because you should always be improving. And if I wasn't, you know, like I just think back to it and the vibe of it and like, how can I improve from that? What were the good parts I can take away from? And what were the negative things that happened that I can avoid in the future? So, a couple months, and then I got asked, what dreams and hopes do I think about the most? And currently, every time I close my eyes, what I'm fucking fighting for is this whole WeDupe thing. I have for over a year now, and I just remember on my birthday last time, when I turned 17 and took the 6 tabs of acid with my brother, and the whole fucking world went wobbly. It was just like thinking about this and visualizing it so hard. Like, I want this so fucking badly. Meeting other weed tubers, meeting you guys, smoking up with you guys, doing fan meetups, like product reviews, the whole shebang, you know, like, whew, think about it a lot. And then as soon as I get there, I already have to start thinking about the next stages, because if you don't, life goes by fucking fast. And if you don't just decide what you're gonna be doing, it's gonna be hard. You'll just be mumbling around like, I don't know, like, I don't know. So just make a fucking decision, because after I start doing the whole WeedTube thing, you know, like, I'm not gonna take this situation for granted. Like, I'm in fucking Taiwan right now. Look at this place. People live like this, you know? Like, anywhere in America is better than, like, this. It's amazing. So when I'm back, I definitely won't be taking it for granted. I will always be leveraging my situation and all of that, so I can always be doing more and dreaming about more, because eventually I think it would be amazing to have Stoned Alone, like Seth Rogen, fucking Snoop Dogg sessions. Like, that would be some crazy shit. And that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. And also, my other biggest dream that goes along with all of that, which I don't know if it may surprise some people. I know I talk about how material things won't make people happy, but when I close my eyes, one of the first things I see a lot is a fucking Dodge Challenger. And I don't know, I think the marketing got to me, but that shit just looks too cool. And I don't know, that's the thing about life. Like, I really do believe it's basically a video game. And if I'm in this video game, you know, that's what I want to be fucking cruising in. So, yeah, and like, I understand it. Like, material things really don't make people happy, and having that car won't make me any happier than I am now. But I'm just thinking about the videos themselves. Like, it just starts out and, like, it's just a fucking hotbox Challenger, and I, like, custom paint it to Stone Alone colors. Like, that just sounds too amazing for me. And, like, picking up other weed tubers in it and doing cross-country road trips, like, all the fucking time. That's a serious, huge dream for me. Like, that would be fucking amazing. And then going along with this, he asked, what is my, like, time frames for these dreams? Is it like a week? Is it a fucking year, 5 years, 10 years? And when it comes to this WeedTuber stuff, that's real quick. 2 fucking months from now, at the end of August 2017, you'll be seeing me starting to do the collabs. I'm gonna link up with a lot of companies, and this is why always working hard fucking pays off, because I know what to do. I know what to do because last year I didn't know what to do. I stumbled around, I was this naive 16-year-old, but I'm like, the only way I'm gonna be able to talk to these people is if I'm also working. I can't just be like some naive 16-year-old that's like, hey, give me all the knowledge you know. So I offered free videos to, like, all the fucking companies that I could in town, and that's just how I did things. So I'm gonna be applying the same concept to WeedTube. I'm gonna be linking up with these weed companies, with these weed product companies, shooting the best fucking free promos I can for them. So the second time I come around, you know, I can hopefully get some gigs and then get some stuff fucking started. Like, that would be insane. So that is happening 2 months from now. And when it comes to the Dodge Challenger, I think I want that when I'm like 21. Like, that's a thing for me. Like, I said it when I was fucking like 15 or 16. It was before I did any vlogging or anything, but I just pulled out a camera and I said, this is what I fucking want. I want a MacBook, a PC, an A7S II, and a fucking leather jacket, and a Dodge Challenger. And I don't know, it seems like a lot of things to ask for, but when it comes to material items, like, you know, when you count up the cost of all the shit people own, like fucking sofas, TVs and shit, like, that's actually a lot of money. That's actually, like, enough money to pay for all the things I just mentioned. So for me personally, I don't even have any materials anymore. I literally have this backpack with the MacBook, an A7S II, and then I have a sedan in America, but I don't have like a house or an apartment or anything. Like, I literally don't own any other shit. So if that's the only things that I even want out of life, that's actually kind of achievable and not as ridiculous as it sounds. So yeah, but within 5 years is when I want to make that happen. I haven't been mentioning it as much. Like, it's not really something I want to boast about too much, but it would just be fucking amazing when the day comes that the vlog on the YouTube channel starts and it's just a big ass hotbox in there. And like, you know, my favorite car was the $500 Saturn. Like, I really don't care about like cars and shit. Like, I'm never like comparing my car to other people. That was my favorite fucking car. It was a stick shift. We smoked blunts in that, and it's just like, you know, I want to step it up. So that's that. If there's one fucking thing that I could change in the whole world, what would it be? And this is a difficult question. Like, humans are fucking annoying. Like, it's weird. You know, we really have more than anything we could have asked for. Like, we have medicine, we have fucking cell phones, Netflix, like, we can communicate with crystals, and you're watching me through millions of liquid crystals. Like, that's some crazy shit. So it's really hard to say because humans always react in certain ways, but I think, I don't know, one interesting thing that you could do is make all drugs legal. Because even if you made all these pharmaceuticals illegal, then they would become the cool thing and people still want to do them. But if every single drug was legal, then after like one generation, after the stigma passes, people would look at shit like, well, why the fuck would I use these pharmaceuticals that totally wreck my body when I could use marijuana? Why would I use Xanax when I could use LSD for therapy? And then there would be so many opportunities for like shamans to open legitimate things. And you know, like the people that would go to that, they would all depend on reviews. So you would only go to like good shamans that did a good job, and they would only get good reviews if that happened. And there'd be like fucking Yelp for like psychedelic shamans and shit. So I think that would be interesting. But it would be messy at first, you know, power structures and a lot of religions would just start crumbling. So anything could fucking happen with that. But for sure, it would be an interesting thing in human history if all drugs went legal, and it would go down in history for the rest of time. They would be like, oh, remember that time when all drugs went legal and then immediately we transcended and started evolving as a species? That would be fucking crazy. And then, what is my first thought when I wake up in the morning? For me personally, every single time it's like, holy fuck, right, this dimension. Because my dreams are really indistinguishable from reality, especially after not smoking for a full 30 days now. And they've gotten very vivid. So in my dreams, I am, you know, like living and making decisions and stuff. So when I pop out of the dream, it's just like, oh shit, yeah, and I resume into this world. It's such an interesting thing. But, you know, there's so much that can happen when you wake up. It dictates the entire rest of your day. And if you don't watch it, you can easily wake up and have a negative first thought like, oh no, not again, or blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I feel you. Mornings suck, but the problem is if you don't fix your current situation, that's just gonna be a fucking Groundhog Day. So yeah, I don't know. It can be very perpetual until you change it and start being more positive about it. Because when I do wake up in the morning, it's like I don't want to get up, but I think about the day and like I'm just like, oh my god, it's so early, like so much can fucking happen between right now and the time that I fall asleep for the night. Like all the possibilities, all the stuff that I've done for the past few years to lead up to this moment so I could start making some more moves. Like it's great. So I am excited when I wake up in the morning, and you know, sometimes I might sleep in a little bit more, but then I just get up with a full fucking rest, you know, like it's good. But I don't know, I have pretty good mornings. And then I try to visualize what I want to have by the end of the day. Like today, I checked my phone, I saw the questions, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna visualize me walking out here, getting these crazy shots. And yeah, a couple hours have gone by just getting these shots, but I feel so fucking excited, like, it's so fun.
There's a part of me is gone now.
And then, what do I think about right before falling asleep for the night? I really don't want to sound like over dramatic, but I'm very fucking serious. Like, your mentality decides so many things, and I feel like when you have one fucking negative thought, you seriously have to balance that out with like 20, 30 positive thoughts. It's literally easier to not have any negative thoughts, and like, it's hard, but it's just not helping your situation whatsoever. It's just making it worse and worse, which makes you want to be more and more negative. So I don't know, I really am excited when I go to sleep every fucking night. I like brush my teeth, stick the retainers in, I can only drink water, finish the editing, hit upload, crawl into the bed, and like right before falling asleep, I see drone shots of this Challenger, like literally like driving through the Grand Canyon, and like just the best friends that I've made so far, and people that I hope to smoke with, and people that I hope to meet in the future. I think about all of this stuff as I'm going to sleep. And another thing is, I don't go to sleep until I'm like passing the fuck out. Like, I'm literally editing all night and I'm just falling asleep at the keyboard, opening my eyes, okay, wait, I just gotta finish it. Falling asleep, I just gotta, and then as soon as I hit upload, I'm like, yes, I'm allowing myself to go to sleep. I'm just so fucking happy, like, oh my God, and I don't have to worry about falling asleep or anything. I just feel like my consciousness was already like so tired, and I just like visualize out and just like let go of consciousness, and I wake up in the morning so refreshed. Like, it really doesn't take me any time to fall asleep. Like, I start visualizing and it becomes crazy real. Like, it feels like, oh, this stuff is actually happening in front of me, and then I'm just like asleep, just like straight into REM. Like, it's amazing. Next question is, do I believe in aliens? Fucking doy. No, seriously, I think it's naive and even a little bit narcissistic as a human race to think that there wouldn't be fucking other intelligent creatures in this ginormous multiverse. Like, you know, we're probably not even that smart. Like, and well, we aren't that smart. Look at humans, they're really fucking dumb, like always trying to compete with each other and stuff. How could there not be something more intelligent out there? I mean, we look at ants like they're really stupid and don't know what they're doing, but what the hell is looking at us like we're ants, you know? Like, we can't perceive that shit. It's probably not even in third dimensional form. They're probably fifth dimensional creatures that think time is just some shit like walking down a driveway, you know? Like, we don't know. You know, we might even have fucking gods. We might have alien game developers that are like, oh hey, let's spawn some technology, see what that does to this Earth video game, like, you know? So I think aliens, just, it's a must. You know, the universe is too fucking big, and when it comes to DMT, it's basically the answer right there, you know? A lot of people have connected with entities, and lots of people are sharing the same types of stories with entities that are like, yo, so fucking glad you can contact us finally, you found the technology. And just a lot of things like that, you know? It's like, I think it's just impossible that there aren't aliens. So that's my take on it. You know, I mean, it's just gotta happen. Especially if we already have all this space shit. Like, even fucking Elon Musk is able to make some spaceships. Like, I'm sure some other entities out there that cooperate or maybe telekinetically communicate, you know, they probably figured this shit out forever ago. So we just don't know. I guess that's my answer with that. But for real, there's definitely gotta be aliens. There's just no fucking way. Just no fucking way there's not aliens. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, seriously, fucking thank the patrons because they made this possible. This is completely a patron-only question answered video. You know, I read every single comment on there. There's not a whole lot, and the questions that are asked on there will definitely get answered because I don't know, just like I see every single thing on there. YouTube is a lot more of a flood. I sometimes forget, and but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this because I tried to stick a little bit of extra effort in there. If you can't tell, I climbed up this fucking thing. My entire legs are covered with tiger mosquito bites and spikes from random plants, but I'm so excited. Like, this is the fucking vibe I'm talking about, you know? Like, this is what makes everything worth it. And to go back on my motivation question, I'll probably leave playlist in the comments, because other than my main driving forces in my life, definitely my mom, my dad, and just the whole Stoned Alone vision, I really want to grow this into something amazing. Like watching Philip DeFranco was one of the biggest inspirations for this. I've been watching that dude since I was like 10, and the things that he was able to accomplish and do were amazing. So kind of like that route. And I'm just so excited for the fucking future, you know, like, it's amazing. So I definitely do watch a lot of motivational videos and stuff to remind myself that I'm just being a little bitch when I'm complaining. I just gotta get up and do my stuff. And when it comes to the Dodge Challenger, I really don't care if I get it. Like, I won't be upset if I don't get that, but it's kind of like a thing where if I'm sitting in my room and I'm like, okay, I wanna go to sleep, but I didn't make a video yet, I'm just like, you know, you can't live like this if you want a fucking Challenger, Tim. So that's kind of what, you know, that's kind of the purpose of that dream in my life. So I think that's all I had to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I had a really nice time filming it. So yeah, I gotta fucking get down from here now. But I'll see you around in my other videos. I hope you enjoy them, because definitely trying to one-up myself here. I don't know how I'm gonna fucking one-up this though. It's gonna be hard, but I'll find a way. So thank you for watching.
Don't understand what they talking, ayy. The weed in the blunt got me coughing, ayy. The weed in the blunt got me coughing, ayy. I don't understand what they talking, ayy. The weed in the blunt got me coughing, ayy. The weed in the blunt got me coughing, ayy. I don't understand what they talking, ayy. The weed in the blunt got me coughing, ayy. The weed in the blunt got me coughing.